Hey everyone. So we've all been there, right? Your containerized app is running perfectly on your laptop, but then comes the big question. How do you actually get it up and running in the cloud? Today, we're going to break down all the different ways you can deploy on Azure Container Apps. We'll go from the simplest, click, all the way to the most professional, robust setups out there. Let's get into it.
So you did it. You built the app, you put it in a container, and it runs like a charm on your own machine. And that is an awesome feeling. But it's really only half the battle. The real question, the one we're tackling today, is how do you take it from your code editor and actually share it with the world?
The thing is, there isn't just one single answer here. Azure gives you a whole spectrum of options. So today, we're going to go on a little journey of, let's call it progressive complexity. We're going to start with the simplest, most direct ways to get your app running, and then we'll build our way up to the really powerful, professional methods you'd use for serious production systems.
All right, let's begin with the most straightforward routes. These are perfect for when you're working by yourself, just testing out a new idea, or you just need to get something up and running fast. First up is what I like to call the path of least resistance, deploying right from your code editor. If you're using something like VS Code, you can grab the Azure extension and get what feels almost like a one-click deployment. The best part about this? You never have to leave your editor. You never break your flow. It's absolutely perfect for those quick, rapid changes when you're deep in the zone and just trying to get something working. Next, we've got the Azure portal. You can think of this as your web-based command center for basically everything in Azure. It's all visual, it's all point and click. This is fantastic for just checking on the status of your running apps, or for those one-off tasks. Like when a teammate just sends you a container image and says, hey, can you just get this running for me? The portal is great for that.
So what's the real trade-off between these two? Well, the code editor is all about speed and keeping you, the developer, happy and productive. The portal is great for getting a visual overview and handling those simple one-time tasks. But, and this is a really crucial point, if you start relying on manually clicking through the portal every single time you deploy, well, that's just a recipe for human error. It is so easy to forget a setting or click the wrong button, and suddenly your environments are inconsistent.
And that risk of human error? It brings us perfectly to the next level up, which is all about teamwork and, more importantly, reliability. This is where we bring in automation through something called CI/CD. So what is CI/CD anyway? Well, it stands for Continuous Integration, which just means everyone's code gets merged together all the time, and Continuous Deployment, which means that new code is automatically sent out to your users. For a team, this is an absolute game changer. The process is so simple. A developer pushes some code, that push automatically kicks off a workflow, and then that workflow builds the app and deploys it for you. No manual steps, no, oops, I forgot.
This quote right here really just captures the magic of it all. You set up CI/CD one time, and then your team can just focus on what they do best, writing great code and pushing it to Git. The deployment just happens, reliably, every single time. This isn't just about automation, It's really a cultural shift. It's about building the confidence as a team to ship code faster and more often, because you've taken all that manual guesswork and potential for error completely out of the picture.
Okay, now we're getting to the most powerful and controlled method of them all. This is where we start treating our cloud infrastructure with the exact same discipline as our application code. This is Infrastructure as Code, or IAC for short.
So, what exactly is IAC? Well, instead of clicking around in a portal or running a bunch of manual commands to create your databases, your networks, and your container apps, you define all of it in code. You write configuration files that become the single source of truth for exactly what your entire environment should look like.
And this is the ultimate benefit, the holy grail, perfect repeatability. When your whole setup is defined in code, you can literally rebuild your entire production environment from scratch with a single command. And you can be certain that it will be identical every single time. This completely eliminates what we call infrastructure drift. Those small manual changes that pile up over time? It finally, truly solves that classic developer problem of, well, it worked on my machine.
So, we've covered a lot about how to deploy. Now let's go behind the scenes a little bit and look at two core concepts in Azure that make all of these deployments safe and manageable. We're talking about environments and revisions.
First up, the environment. The easiest way to think about an environment is like a secure, private room just for your applications. Every container app you put inside an environment gets its own virtual network. This means all the different microservices in that environment can talk to each other super easily and, more importantly, securely, almost like they're all plugged into the same network switch. It's a really essential boundary for security and just keeping things organized.
Ah, this is it. This is the question that keeps developers up at night. You push out a new update, you think everything is great, and then suddenly, something breaks in production. So how does the platform help you handle this kind of situation gracefully?
Well, the answer is a brilliant little concept called revisions. A revision is an immutable, which is a fancy way of saying unchangeable, snapshot of your app at a specific point in time. And here is the absolute key. When you deploy an update, you don't overwrite the old version. Instead, Azure creates an entirely new revision, leaving that old one completely safe and untouched.
This timeline shows you exactly how it works in practice. So your first app is revision 1, and it's getting 100% of the user traffic. When you deploy an update, a brand new revision 2 gets created and starts up quietly in the background. Once it's fully ready and healthy, the traffic is just shifted from the old revision over to the new one. And revision 1? It's not deleted, it just becomes inactive, sitting there, ready to be reactivated in an instant if you need to roll back.
You know, this whole process has a classic industry name. It's called a blue-green deployment. Just think of the blue box as your current, stable, live version that all your users are hitting right now. The green box is the new version, running right alongside it in parallel. Once you're totally confident that green is working perfectly, you just flip a switch and all the traffic starts going to it instead. The result? A perfectly seamless update with absolutely zero downtime for your users. It's beautiful. So yeah, this system of revisions is a true lifesaver. It's what gives you those zero downtime deployments. It allows for instant one-click rollbacks if something goes wrong. And you can even do really advanced things like A/B testing by sending, say, 10% of your traffic to the new revision to see how it performs before you commit to rolling it out to everyone. It's all about making your updates safer and way more flexible.
Okay, wow, we have covered a lot of ground here, from the simplest clicks all the way to fully automated code. So the big question is, how do you choose the right path for your specific project?
Let's break it all down with this handy little cheat sheet. If you're a solo developer just hacking on an idea, the VS Code extension is all about speed and simplicity. For visual management, or just those one-off tasks, the Azure portal is your go-to. The second you have a team working together, CI/CD becomes absolutely essential for automation and reliability. And finally, for your most critical, complex production systems, infrastructure as code gives you that ultimate level of control and perfect repeatability.
And that really brings us to the final question, the one I want you to think about. Looking at the project you're working on right now, or maybe the one you're about to start, which one of these strategies fits best? You know, moving from simple clicks to automated code isn't just about adding complexity. It's about choosing the right tool for the job to make your life easier and your applications way more reliable. Thanks so much for joining me.